power of names. One of the most defining experience and moments in the foundation of our identity, personality, and then also character is all about our naming. And I want to ask you, what is your name? Because also the name determines your character, determines your personality. It speaks in your destiny. You see that? And also as a parent, God has not just given you the responsibility of just giving birth to a child, but also has given you the responsibility of commanding the destiny and then ordering the steps of your child. So the first words that you speak when your child is born, they speak a lot within his or her destiny. Now, in the Greek culture, the naming of the child took place on the 8th day after his or her birth. And we see that actually number 8, spiritually it means the number of new beginnings. And then now, when you speak and then when you give a name to that child, the first words that that child now hears, because now the child has come to a new world. Yes, he was in the womb, but actually right now he's in the new world. Now, the first word that that child hears, the name that you give to that child, it speaks also into his or her destiny. So you must be always mindful. You must be always mindful the names that you give to a person. However much even is your spiritual father, the name that he does call you, it speaks volumes and it adds too much on your destiny. It will either add sorrow or it will add, actually, you know what, as in joy and then success. Because also in the Bible, times with that number, we see that people who were named after their, who were named names, the names spoke within their lives. The names contributed to their character and then purpose and then identity. When you talk about now, one man called Jabez, that his mother bore him in sorrow, and he named him Sorrow Maker. The name Jabez meant Sorrow Maker, and it was against to his God-given potential, because the Bible lets us know that in the sight of God he was honorable among all his brethren, but his name was going against to his divine potential. And also we see in the Bible, Rachel, when she was giving birth to his son, when she was about even to die because she was travailing too much and then it was too much painful. And then she named his son Ben-Onin, which means son of my sorrows. But when now Jacob comes in, he changes the name to Benjamin, which means son of my right. So names are really powerful. In the Bible, there's a man called Nimrod Cush. And then that is a man whereby his name meant rebellious. And then he is the person who actually began demonic worship in the Bible. And also, as the Bible also lets us know, there was a man called Abraham. But even before he became Abraham, God had to change his name from Abraham to Abraham, a father of many nations. There was a woman called Sarai, and God had to change her name from being Sarah to now, from being Sarai to Sarah. And also, as you can see, Jacob, and then the same applies to Simon, and then so. But again, in the Bible, we see that the first man to name creatures, he was called Adam. And Adam named the animals. And whatever name that he gave to the animal, it deserved it, basing on its character. And he took that nature, he took that personality. He named the lion, and the lion now took over now that character. And then when he came to Eve, he also named his wife Eve. And he said that now he shall be a mother of all humans. You see that? So names are really powerful. So as a parent, the first words that you speak, the first words that you command within the destiny of your child, they speak a lot. Now, there are people whereby they're being named after the names of the gods. So that after the names of their, tribal gods, clanic, as in gods. Now, in our country, we have names of the gods like, as in Mokasa, you see that, as in Luvale, you see that Chintu, yes, they are good names, but actually when you try to as in relate them to the gods, they don't sound well. because names speak within your destiny. Now, if you are named Mokasa, you say that Luvale, yes, it's a good name. And when you become born again, you become a new creature. But again, God doesn't, as in, take away and then consecrate that name. In the Bible, there's no trace where God consecrated a name. God only consecrated people. And when it came to names, he had to change their names. So there are people whereby they're named after now the names of their gods. And also they're proud of them. But in the Bible, when God was, as in, when he met a person, he never consecrated the name of a person. He never sanctified and then cleansed the name of a person. He actually changed the name of a person. How much even he cleansed the person, but actually he had to change his name. Case in point, it is Abraham. And then God naming him Abraham. Coming to Sarah, God naming her again Sarah. And also whatever name that God named the person, he had an agenda. He had a purpose as to why he was naming those people. Abraham meaning a father of many nations. You see that? Sarai, a mother of many also nations. Jacob was called also, you know what, a supplanter, because his name meant a deceiver. And we saw that actually he went on to struggle for the birthright with his brother. And when God does encounter him, he changed his name from Jacob, a deceiver, to actually, you know what, Israel, a blessing. And we see one man also called Simon Barjona, that when Jesus meets him, he told him, "You shall never be called Simon Barjona, but you shall be called Simon Peter." Peter meaning a rock, and on you I'll build my church, and the gates of hell they shall not prevail. And also when he does also encounter a man called Saul, who was a persecutor of the church, he had to change his name. And then now he named him Paul, the apostle of the gospel, in Jesus' mighty name. Now, don't say that God was actually had no reason as to why he was changing these people's names. He had the reason as to why he was changing these people's names. Of course, they were changed people mentally, but again, there's reason as to why he had to change their names, because now the names speak within the destiny of a person. The names speak within the identity and then the character of a person. Now, the Bible lets us know there was a woman called Abigail, and then also there was the husband of that woman called Nabal. That, you know what, Nabal, his name meant foolish, and indeed he was foolish because his name meant foolish. And the wife had to say, "No, forgive me, King David, because as you see, my husband is called Nabal, and his name means foolish, because he had done foolishly, he had behaved foolishly before King David." So may God give you the grace, so as you can always know what you name, even your children as a parent, so as you can know what you call yourself or what others call you, because it will always speak within your destiny. In Jesus' mighty name. See that? So what is your name? Yes, God will change, and then you're a new creature. But again, you must understand that actually, when you carry the potential of God within you, and then also you have another name, your name will always, you know what, be contradicting to your God-given potential. Just imagine if you are called Lucifer. You are called Lucifer. All of us, we know who Lucifer is. So when you wake up and say, "I'm called Lucifer," how much even you're a pastor, do you think that we shall see a pastor in you simply because you are preaching the gospel and yet you are called Lucifer? Even your name will be fighting. It will be fighting your God-given potential in Jesus' mighty name. So the names that you speak, or the names that you are called, or the names that you are given, or the names that you give to yourself. Some people even they get names from movie stars. Now, this is a man who was a movie star. You don't know anything about him. You don't know the spirit that is backing this person in Hollywood, and then you name yourself after that, the name of the movie star. Now, there's a reason as to why even now when you got the Bible, we see that in you know what people named their children, even based on circumstance. I've given you Rachel and then the mother of Jabez. But also we see Sarah, after giving birth, she called the name of her child as in Isaac, which means laughter. And then coming to Moses, Pharaoh's daughter had to name Moses that name because she got him from water. In other words, Moses means, to draw out. You see that? And then also the name Joshua, it means Yahweh is salvation. And then now when you come to the New Testament, we see even Jesus himself. When Jesus now comes here, you know what? Jesus, the name Jesus means Yeshua, which means Yahweh saves. In other words, Yahweh is salvation. Now, in other words, this name actually represents, the character of a saving person. You see that? So now we understand that actually names, they carry purpose and then destiny. They reflect a person's character and then destiny in Jesus' mighty name. And also they continue to talk about now the traits, the character traits of a person in Jesus' mighty name. Sometimes we're battling with certain characters, and yet it's the name that is backing up those characters and then bringing those characters within our lives. Just imagine if you are called a thief. What happens? Of course, you will steal because God created the mouth, and then the mouth can create things. And the Bible talks about the power of the tongue, that the tongue is powerful. So, what is your name? And what have you named yourself? And what do people call you in Jesus' mighty name? Because names, they will always make your life bitter or they will make your life better. The names, they will make your life to exhibit God's glory or to limit even God's glory. But when God meets such individuals, he has to change now names in Jesus' mighty name. So who are you? Who are you? Yes, I know that you're born again, but what's your name? If you find that actually your name is connected to anything in sort of witchcraft and then gods, you change it. You change it. Because also you shall function in that way. You shall function in that way. So that's all I wanted to talk about, the power of the names. I pray that may God give you the grace so as your name might carry meaning and purpose. Now, these are days whereby also people, they get names because now they look sweet. On social media these days, sometimes you see people, writing. I once saw a video on TikTok whereby a person was listing all the names, and these are the names whereby if your name falls in this list, then those men can cheat. Yes, I saw one on TikTok. One of the videos, on TikTok, I saw a person who was writing all the names that if you're a male and then you're called such and such a name, then that name with that person, actually, those people are cheaters. And if you're a lady and you're called such and such a name, when that name is just therefore, you are great at, as in also cheating. Why? Because it's true. Names, they speak into a destiny of a person. And that is true. Nothing happens by chance. So if you find out actually your name doesn't mean well, change it. Change it. Change it. Because life is spiritual. Because if you're called that name, it will also reflect your character. It will reflect the way you understand, the way you do things in Jesus' mighty name. Amen. So that's all about names. We talk about now those jokes on social media whereby a person comes in and then they say, these are the names of people who are good at cheating. And he does list all the names of men. And then also they do list the names of ladies. It's not a joke. Names speak within the destiny of a person. Names speak within, the character of a person, the purpose of a person. So if you find that your name is not really aligning to God's purpose, concerning your life, then change it in Jesus' mighty name. Don't say that it doesn't matter as long as I'm a new creature in Christ. Therefore, even I don't change my name. God always consecrates and then he does sanctify and cleanse a person so as you can become a new creature. But when it comes to names, we never saw in the Bible God consecrating and then trying to, as in cleanse a name. He used to change a name, such as Abraham to Abraham, Sarai to Sarah, Jacob to Israel, Simon Barjona to Peter, the rock, Saul, the persecutor of the church, now to Paul, who is now the preacher of the gospel, in Jesus' mighty name. May God bless you. I love you so much. Bye-bye.